Hi, Jeannie here from Jeanne in the Kitchen. We are going to make some empanadas today. So I've already made my dough. It's the same dough you've seen me make before when I made my galettes, my vegetable galettes. And so I'm using some leftover of my wild rice with the chorizo, and I added some spinach to it. Those of you who follow me know that my alter ego is the Queen of Leftovers. So today we're doing something with the Queen of Leftovers, inspiration and stamp of approval. So you see I'm putting down my flour. I'm going to roll out my dough. These are pretty easy to make. So we're going to put a little flour on the dough so it doesn't stick. We've got it all over the cutting board, and we're just going to roll it out. We want these nice and thin, and then we're going to fry them up later. We want them nice and thin, maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, something like that. So this won't take very long. This dough will probably make about 4 empanadas, depending on what size. You can make them any size you want. There's no right or wrong. I cheat. I use round circles, and you can make them any size you want. You can make them larger, you can make them smaller. So because we're going to make them as a meal, I'm going to make them about this size. So it's probably a 4-inch in diameter circle. And I'm only going to make one right now because it's the same basic thing. But I have my circle. So I'll come back and do that in just a little bit. We want to make this nice and flat. So you can use your fingers, you can use your rolling pin, whatever you want to do. Nice and flat. Like I said, it's about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. And we're just going to fill this up as much as we can, probably about 2 heaping tablespoons of filling. And I filled it on kind of on 2/3 of it, and then we're just going to roll it over. So roll it over, so you're making like a half moon crescent. And then you're going to pinch it nice and tight. That's to seal it. And then you can, I don't have a fork with me right now, but a knife will do the same thing. This is just to kind of seal it a little bit more. You're just making sure that the filling stays in there, and you're sealing it. In Argentina and Mexico and all over South America, people sometimes will determine how what's inside of their empanadas by the way that they design them. Oftentimes they're just kind of rolled up, and pinched like so. And again, this is just a way to keep it all in the filling. Now I'll seal that with an egg wash and let it sit in the refrigerator for a while. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pan fry it. You can bake them if you like. I prefer them pan fried. I've done them both ways. They just taste lighter. They just taste flakier when they're pan fried versus being baked. Maybe it's just a preference, I don't know. But either way, there's no right or wrong way. So, as I said, I am the Queen of Leftovers. This is a similar dough that I have. We're going to do it in a different way. This is a similar dough. This is a pâte sucrée. The only difference between this dough and this dough is this dough has powdered sugar in it. And we're going to do something else with this. I had made a pie dough the other day. You have yet to see what that was for, so I will show you that in a little bit. It will be on the blog, JeanneInTheKitchen.com. And I don't have enough for a lot of these, but no, waste not, want not. That was how I grew up, and that's kind of how I live my life. Waste not, want not. So again, you want these nice and thin, probably about the same, maybe about an 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And we're just going to cut these in strips, and we're going to make some cookies with these. So when I pan fry the empanadas, after I'm done with that, or even before, I can pan fry these cookies as well. And we're just going to cut them in strips. They don't have to be exact. and cut a little hole in the middle, and then we're just going to tie it into a bow tie. So we're just going to bring one end through, carefully pull it out, and you're going to have a bow tie just like so. I learned how to make these cookies, gosh, when I was a little girl, and they're just a light cookie. And like I said, I'm going to pan fry them up, and then we will dust them with either powdered sugar or cinnamon sugar or both, your choice. And they're just light little cookies. Now, normally these can be made with a cream cheese dough, but we can also do it with this dough that I have here. And like I said, it'll just be a leftover something, so we don't throw away all the leftovers. I hate throwing away food if I don't have to. So those are a couple things to do, and we will fry up the empanadas, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've got all my cookies all done, and they're in a nice little bow tie, and I've got my oil heated up to about 350 degrees. You're just going to gently lay them in there. You never want to overcrowd the skillet. Try to make sure your oil is clean so it doesn't have any other flavors, like if you cook with chicken or fish, or you don't really want fish flavored cookies. It doesn't taste too good. So I'm just laying these in here. We're going to let them fry for a couple minutes until they're nice golden brown. Like I said, you don't want to overcrowd the skillet. And then when they're done, we're going to roll them in powdered sugar, or you can do cinnamon sugar, either one. Your preference. We're probably going to do a little bit of both, but they just look like a little bow tie. So the original recipe, like I said, it has cream cheese. It's a cream cheese dough, very good, very rich dough, but I had extra dough left over. I didn't want it to go to waste, although it is going to my waste. And then we're going to make some cookies out of it. So I'm beginning to turn them over. See, didn't take very long at all. They're nice golden brown. Only takes a couple minutes. And we can start adding a couple more because we're going to start taking these out pretty soon. Doesn't take too long. All right, so when they're hot, you just want to roll them in the powdered sugar like so, kind of shake off the excess, and repeat until they're done. And that's all you have to do for these. And they're light and flaky and crispy and delicious, and especially if you... Okay, I did make 4 empanadas from the dough that I had, and one little itty bitty empanada. Now it doesn't matter if the grease is used for other things, because this is a savory dish, but you don't really want, like I said, fish flavored cookies. So again, same basic thing. We're just going to put it in nice and carefully. You don't want to overcrowd the pan, and we want it golden brown on each side. Oh shoot, one broke in half. Oh well. Doesn't take too long. The grease is nice and hot. The grease is nice and hot. Like I said, it's about 350 degrees. You just want a golden brown on each side, so maybe just a couple minutes on each side. We're going to flip it, and then another couple minutes. You can do it with tongs. Sometimes I actually do it better with a spatula, because I have a little bit more support that way. But you can do it however it's comfortable for you. So let's see what we're looking like. I don't, yeah. They're looking good. And be very careful. This is literally like hot grease. It's going to burn, so be very, very careful with it. So we'll let those cook for a couple more minutes, and then the empanadas will be done. And I'm serving it today with some corn and tomato salad and some of my peach salsa, but you can use whatever you like. Just a way of using up leftovers. There's no right or wrong way. There's no recipe for this. It's really using up leftovers. As you know, my alter ego is, for those of you who follow my blog, my alter ego is the queen of leftovers. And she's been here with a little Argentine flavor today. They're almost done, and then I'm going to put them back on the tray. I'll go ahead and do this broken one. It's okay, we'll just have 2 of those. And see how pretty they look? They're nice and golden brown, light and crispy. They're so light, they're breaking apart. And they will just literally melt in your mouth. Okay, my empanadas are done. And like I said, the empanada is basically the shell, the casing. And I filled it with my leftover pork and our chorizo and rice. And I'm serving it with my peach salsa that I made right here, also on my blog, and some corn and tomato and onion salad. Just a real simple, easy meal. Both of these, they should already be on the blog. If not, I will repost them again. And I'm serving it with yet another Colorado wine. This is from Grand Junction. The whole wine is from the western side of the western slope. It's grown in the vineyards in Grand Junction, and it's produced there. It's Grand River, great Colorado wine. And we are done. This has been Jeannie from A Jeannie in the Kitchen. All of this will be on my blog at ajeannieinthekitchen.com. We'll see you next time.